reading today, the National Black Republicans Association out of Sarasota, Florida, right down the way from where I live, is filing their own articles of impeachment against the president. And the way it read, well, I guess they were quoting the ability to impeach, for as far as what the law says, but mentions, Congress, the president, other officers within the government, high standing, high ranking officers within the government. And they go on to list quite a few, reasons, from Benghazi, whatnot, to 6 or 7 other reasons of why and they're specifically going after Barack Obama, why he needs to be impeached. The only problem is, of course, which they're fixing to find out, good luck as citizens trying to impeach somebody. As you all know, it always has to go through Congress. They have to hold the vote. They have to do it. And when you have a two-party system like we do, which is called the Republicans and Democrats, crime bosses, in Congress, those two same parties are very visible. That's the majority of Congress, is the Republicans and the Democrats. Very, very few independents. So, you have those two groups, and then you have a president who is also one of those two groups, either a Democrat or Republican. So normally, there's never enough votes within Congress in itself to impeach the president, because no matter what, he is on one of their sides. Either he's a Democrat or a Republican. So the Democratic portion of Congress are not going to want to impeach their Democratic president, and the Republicans would not want to impeach a Republican president, because again, it is nothing more than party affiliation, which is why they all get all pissed off when one of their own party votes with the other party. Oh my God, those 6 Democrats voted with the Republicans. And their party gets all pissed off about it. There's no such thing as voting right or wrong. It's just, hey, how did your party vote? It's the same thing. Again, it's like a crime syndicate. It's the mafia. How do you think the mafia, one mafia group would feel if one of their, 6 of their boys did something that basically helped out the other guy? Well, in that situation, they'd probably be killed. But nonetheless, they're going to get pissed off. It's a slap in the face. Hey, it doesn't matter what we're doing. It doesn't matter how illegal it is. It doesn't matter how right or wrong it is. And believe me, it's not right. It's wrong. So it doesn't matter how wrong it is. You're on our party, or in our party, and this is the way the party wants to vote. This is the way you need to vote. So every now and there's a brave few who cross over the party line to vote with the other side. And the funny thing is, usually once they do that, it's not like they keep doing it. It's just one particular issue. They voted a different way. And that's how they, that's not how they, whatever, but I guess what I was going to say is that's, in other words, if they have one issue, let's just say it's, Obamacare, and some Republicans or Democrats don't want it, just a few of them. It's a big issue. Okay, we're not going with the Democrats. We're going to vote with the Republicans, and we're going to vote no on this turd. In other words, that's the only thing that they're going to really stray away from the party. As soon as they're done, they're back with the party, voting the same way the party votes on everything else. Kind of reminds me of that show Breaking Amish. Y'all ever watch that? Breaking Amish. These Amish kids, they send them off to like New York or Los Angeles. They want to get away from the Amish lifestyle, go live, as they call it, English lifestyles. And of course, all hell breaks loose pretty much every time. Drunken sex parties and everything else. Unbelievable to see the Amish, of all people, doing that. But what I noticed is they get shunned. In other words, you went with the other party. You went with the English party. You come back to our lifestyle, live with us, you're now shunned. No one's going to talk to you. No one can see you. You got to eat alone. You're basically not human for the time being. And that could last weeks to a month or more. And then they're unshunned. And once you're unshunned, It's perfectly back to normal, as if nothing ever happened. Which is exactly like this two-party system. They vote one way, they're pissed off at them, then they come back, they start voting the rest of the way, so now they're unshunned. You vote with the Republicans, you know, you're a Democrat. Oh, you're shunned. Next vote comes up, they vote with you, alright, you're unshunned. It's sad to see that these types of, you know, even this black Republican Party thing, association, is doing stuff like this. This is not something that normally has to happen. Like, not even close. When you do live in a free country and everyone understands we all have the same rights, we all have the same laws we have to abide by. No one's better than the other person. No one holds this great power under their sleeves. And furthermore, what you thought was America, everything you've been told is America, when that kind of country is in question, these aren't the things that happen. You don't have one party telling the other party we're not going to pass a budget because of this, or we're not going to extend the debt ceiling because of that. And this is what happens when you have a country that you thought was about freedom and freedom of everything, and everyone has equal rights and civil rights. It's the best country, it's the best democracy in the world. That's what happens when you thought that was the country you lived in. You never really knew. And now, everybody's slowly but surely finding out that it was nothing more than a dream. It was a thought. They told you it in school. You heard it on the TV. They even told you that these terrorists attack us. In other countries, they're attacking us because they don't like our freedoms. We have so many freedoms that they don't have. They are so mad and upset about that they attack us. And we bought into that crap. When in reality, shouldn't they be attacking their own government to say, hey, look at what America does. We want that here. No. They're going to attack America, the one they want to be like. Right. And everybody bought it for the most part. And now we're in all these wars. Again, all these big wars, you can include that. That's not the sign of a good, free, happy, democracy, leader of the free world country. That's not what the leader of the free world does. Doesn't get entangled in all these little wars. Have all these different CIA, FBI, ATF, all these alphabet agencies, Department of Homeland Security, right? DHS. There's no, and that's the biggest one. Department of Homeland Security, as I've always said, they don't really do anything. They're just like this little private army that just kind of, you hear about them every now and then, but they're not really doing anything. You know what I mean? They're not out patrolling the streets. They're not fighting wars. They're not over in the, National Guard. No, they're just heavily armed, massive amounts of ammunition, as they just purchased the last couple of years, as you know, for some unknown reason. Now, you would think if we heard that our military just made an order for 2 billion rounds of ammunition, no one would probably really question it too much. While we are overseas, I mean, there's a few wars going on, yeah, I mean, probably wouldn't have been too big a news. But when an agency that doesn't really do any police work, doesn't really do FBI type work, CIA type work, military type work, has more ammunition than probably all of them in our country, which is where they reside and where they operate, the Department of Homeland Security, is going to make a lot of people wonder one day, and they'll stop, I should say stop wondering one day what all that was about. So I wish the Black Republican, whatever it was called, Association of Sarasota, Florida, I wish you guys a lot of luck. The worst thing, well, there's no worst thing about it, but the only thing that's probably going to come is, haha, you thought you guys could do something as citizens, you're not. And as I said the other day, the news media will tell them, hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to write these nonsensical articles of impeachment as if you really had the power. Just vote them out next time. This is a democracy. If you don't like things, you vote them out next time. Of course, the argument is, well, I voted them in this time, and they lied through their teeth, and they're a dictator tyrant now. People, American citizens, are on the kill list for any reason the government deems necessary without any oversight. which is usually it's a national security matter. He needs to go. Oh, okay. Which is pretty much everything they use. National security, national security, national security. We can't let Eric Holder talk about Fast and Furious gun running operations because of national security, so he has executive status under Obama. See, but when Obama was running for president, he didn't mention he was going to be doing that. He didn't mention everything coming out of my mouth right now is going to be a lie and then some. And wait till you vote me in. Because if he said that, nobody would vote for him. So you mean to tell me it is normal for people to have to wait 4 years to vote somebody out, and in the meantime, do you know how much havoc you could wreak in 4 years when you have the sole appointing position of appointing the highest levels of other individual officials, like guys like Eric Holder, Supreme Court justices, guys that are absolutely critical, federal judges? You would be able to appoint them all. And of course, you're going to appoint everybody who's on your side, who are your friends, your pals, like the mafia does. And of course, before they can get the nod, that has to go through little tiny few people in Congress to say yes or no, we want this person to be appointed by the president, which in most, again, it's not all of Congress, it's a little committee that is more of the same people. So of course, it's like your own family voting for your own family. How do you think that's going to go down? And when one of your family members gets in trouble, how do you think the rest of the family is going to do? They're going to stand up for him. Hey, he's not guilty, when he's guilty as hell. This is the same thing in government. And this is exactly why there will be no solution. There will be no voting in, no voting out. It won't matter. There's only one solution, and is what history shows always is the sole source that works. And that's called a revolution. And unfortunately, peaceful revolutions, while I wish they would work, there's no history of that really happening. It's usually violent revolutions. Now, you look over in like Venezuela and some of these other countries like that, where they've successfully banged pots and pans and the president left. And what happens once he or she left? A new one steps in, all fix things, and it's the same story. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. So go ahead and beat some more pots and pans in a few years now and let that person go. And then see who comes in next, and then beat some more pots and pans. Because nothing has changed, especially in Venezuela specifically, because this is where that happened. And the dollar, of course, over there is worse than it was years ago. They're having the same problems they had years ago. Now it's compounding and getting worse. And it just can't seem to find somebody. Now, partially, that's due to the fact that they have to compete with the rest of the world, and everyone's on paper money. In the United States, if they want your dollar to be destroyed, we destroy your dollar. Just like we did on 2001 to Venezuela the first time. Their dollar was 1-to-1 with ours. It is now 3-to-1, or it was 3-to-1. Now I think it's worse than that. Last time I checked. So anyways, just keep stacking gold and silver. Stack your food storage, stuff like that for the rainy day, bad times. And let's just see where our turd of a country goes, because it can't possibly be getting any better anytime soon. Things have to get much worse before they get better. Take care.